St. Nicholas saved my life. He saved my life. When I was a young buck, I fell in with a bad crowd. Hell's herd. We were the meanest fawns in the Northern Hemisphere, bar none. We go out drinking every night, getting into fights, knocking those igloos. It's fun time, and that's what I call us herbivores. We take this kayak. He's have a tattoo back down on my shoulder of a flaming deer skull with a fiery tail and a comet. That's how I got my nickname. Skull. I don't have it anymore. I had to bring it over. It's a snow cone now. St. Nick helped me put those days behind me. I was a young trouble reindeer. We go roaming the range looking for trouble. There's much trouble on the range though. So one winter night, went into the city, high cocaine. Flying between buildings, zooming low into traffic. City people think they're tough. But lose their shit when they see a flying reindeer come right at their windshield. Let me tell you, you don't know the meaning of the word tough until you've carved your name to a brick wall. There's nothing but the bones in your head and try to gym for anesthetic. Then we tried to rob a liquor store. But this time I was so blind wasted, I didn't know what I was doing. It could have been that coke or the fifth gin I had. I think it was that bad marijuana. You see, none of us has smoked pot before. I mean, we're no strangers to the evil weed, of course. Out in the wild, using jump the bush. So just roll it up in paper, burn it, what can I say? Novelty. Sound like fun. She bit of a couple junkies. Asshole. They must have some bad shit. Because I'm standing there, staring at the fireworks going off. Those pretty colors. Shopkeeper blasted me with 22, killed up the counter. I couldn't do nothing. They were going to turn me to an animal shelter. I was delirious. They thought I was rabid. They're going to put me down. But someone heard about the great work that St. Nick did with Trouble Reindeer, so they called him in. Took me out of there. Straightened me out. Gave me a job. Every time I read about these young bucks getting gore deaths in gang fights, or getting drunk in front of a pickup truck, I think, that could have been me. That was me. And the only thing that's keeping me from being some other roadkill or some nameless face on a trophy wall somewhere is St. Nicholas. There's not anyone here who can't say the same. Ask Dasher, ask Stancer, ask Prancer where her career will be above the 8 on the top of her resume. Ask Cupid what he was doing before the Kringles would come in. Ask him if he'd like to go back. He'll tell you that none of that matters, but it all matters. Because St. Nick has built his life on helping others. That's what makes this accusation such a travesty. Listen to Blisson's feminist rantings, and she wants you to forget. And St. Nick was the first one to establish the first reindeer team in the world to make does and bucks on an equal basis. You want to talk about sexual harassment? Talk to the elves. They were towel boys in Irish brothel when St. Nick found them. Took them out of there, retrained them, gave them skills that they actually could use. Set up the Toy Maker Apprenticeship Program, sent to also sponsors, Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America, UNICEF, Special Olympics, all that, and the Christmas run. So when you hear about this Vixen story or this other version of the Rudolph story, it does not sound like the same man, because it's not the same man. One of them is a lie, and the other one is a real St. Nick. Rudolph was just a poor, deformed, retarded little reindeer buck. When St. Nick gave him a chance to beat somebody. He showed him that someone had faith in him, when no one else did, not even his own father. So I don't see how you can equate that to some kind of conspiracy theory where years later caused him to go into some kind of catatonic stupor. When these gossip take what St. Nick did for Rudolph and turn it into something warped and reverted, how can they do that? It makes no sense. It makes me angry. It makes perfect sense. Who are the ones pushing these perverted accusations? The perverts. Vixen, Blitzen, and Cupid. 2 lesbians in the back. Now some people don't want to think they're lesbians, but they are. You see the way they look at each other? Like they know something the rest of us don't? Well, don't take my word for it, but just because they've had mates before doesn't mean they've never gone door-to-door. At the very least, they'll be bisexual. And they'll be happy until the whole world is bisexual. Ugh. Either of me experienced the reputation of one man who stands for right and good in the world. He's not my family values. That's what I mean when I call them perverts, because I'm not one to judge anyone's lifestyle. When you ruin a good man's name to serve your own political agenda, especially when he's done so much for you personally, and everyone around you, it's warped. It's more than warped. It's unfathomable. It's not in the Christmas spirit. Really, I shouldn't have let this upset me. It's just so ridiculous. I wish I could just sit back and laugh it off. Ho, ho, ho. St. Nicholas said, what? You're joking. I'm not joking. They're serious. They're dead serious. They think they're gonna get anywhere with these charges? Like they're gonna get rid of the royal St. Nick? It would be the first time someone was shot. The world's full of crazies. Every Christmas is something new. Some mother claiming he's molested her child, when she's afraid to admit he could be her husband or her new boyfriend, where he's raising their stockings, so we're pissing down their chimney. None of it's ever been proved. I guess he's living saint with his argument for this kind of thing. What scares me about it this time, is people actually believe them. No, what actually scares me is people actually listen to them. They let them any kind of credibility. That they just don't just walk out of the room when someone starts talking about it. Back in the 50s, if someone had said she was raped by St. Nicholas, no one would have believed her. No one would have listened to her. She would be the one brought up in charges. But now, I've had people ask me this question like, did St. Nicholas sexually assault one of the reindeer? How can you ask me that? How can you even think it? You know the answer. He's a good man. And he wasn't made a saint because of his good looks. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but it's just the way it is. Joan of Arc, St. Patrick, none of saints. The Catholic Church did not elect St. Nick into his sainthood because of glamour. It did it because he has a bowl full of jelly and a heart of gold behind it, and up a little bit. And it's because he doesn't spend his money on these health club memberships or personal trainers. He's not in the company gym every day playing racquetball in between meetings like some of these lawyers. He doesn't put the working petitions of Reindeer at the top of his priority list because there were higher priorities. St. Nick wasn't put here to make the Ada was happy. He was put here to make the whole world happy. And if you can only do it one night out of the year, it's because of people like this. Like Vixen, Blitzen, these journalists who care more about news that sells than news that's true. Or these lawyers, who like courageously against tradition that loses money for them. And it's because people all over the world, watching the television and morbid fascination, who don't have the strength of character, pick up remote control and change the channel. Who don't have the strength of character to say, no, I will not listen. No, I will not be part of this. No, it's not happening. No!